Hello everyone and happy Friday. My name is Shannon. I'm your hostess for this evening. It's a lively crowd. I see a lot of, actually I don't see too many returning faces. I see a lot of new faces. Raise your hand if it's your first time here tonight. Fabulous! Well, I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Society Partners Paula, Tim, Scott, and Christopher to Society Cabaret. So we are here every Friday and Saturday night with a different cabaret artist each night, and we hope that you like the show, and we hope that you will come back. And you can find our full calendar listing at societycabaret.com. Just a few orders of business before we get started. Please do take a minute to silence your cell phones. Also know that video photography is strictly prohibited. We are doing that for our artists tonight. We're filming in the back, so that will be offered. And then last order of business is when the show is over. It does not mean that the party is over. We will continue the party, but we do have to leave this room. We'll go into the library bar, which is that super fun bar that some of you had a drink in before you came in here, and it's through that first door on the left. Tonight's artist, you're in for a real treat. He is a local theater performer, and he told me that he's been at lots of open mics and has dabbled a bit here and there, trying out his cabaret voice and his cabaret show. But tonight is his first solo flight. So please give it up, give it a warm welcome for Mr. Charles Emmons.
Hey, look me over, lend me an ear, fresh out of clover, mortgaged up to here. But don't pass the plate, folks, don't pass the cup. I figure whenever you're down and out, the only way is up. And I'll be up like a rosebud, high on the vine. Don't thumb your nose, bud. Take a tip from mine. I'm a little bit short on the elbow room, but let me get me some. And look out, world, here I come. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome, as they said, to my very first cabaret show. And I am a little overwhelmed, thrilled, and very excited that you are all here tonight to take this trip with me. Tonight I want to talk to you about multiple love affairs that I've had in my life. But most of those love affairs have been with theater and music. So that's what I hope to share with you during this evening. Nobody in the world is ever without a prayer. How do you win the world if nobody knows you're there? Kid, when you need a crowd, the tickets are hard to sell, believe me, I know. Still, you can lead the crowd if you can get up and yell, hey, look me over, lend me an ear, fresh out of clover, mortgaged up to here, but don't pass the plate, folks, don't pass the cup. I feel you whenever you're down and out, the only way is up, and I'll be up like a rosebud, high on the vine. Don't thumb your nose, but take a tip from mine. I'm a little bit short on the elbow room, but let me get me some. And look out, world, hear me shout, world, and look out, world, here I come. Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Strut down the street and have your picture took. Dress like a dream, your spirit seems to turn about. That Sunday shine is a perfect sign to feel as fine as you look. Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile that makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your beads and buckles and bows, and your new straw hat, and your silk cravat, 'cause there's no Blue Monday in your Sunday clothes. So, I was 13 years old when I got on a train to downtown Boston from my suburban little town, Melrose, Massachusetts, and I went to see my first live theater. And it was a road company of Hello Dolly, and the number, of course, put on your Sunday clothes. And it was a moment that I remember when I saw that number that I was really transported, felt like I was transported into another world, a magical world where time was kind of stood still. And it was something, it was an experience I wanted to have more of. So I started to get on the train every Saturday and went to matinees. And in those days, second balcony seats were about $2 for theater. So that was a while ago. And I saw a lot of things and learned a lot. I saw Barbara Cook in a play called Little Murders with her co-star was Elliot Gould, and she was an ingenue. She was still playing ingenue roles. And also I saw Leslie Uggams. This was the first time I saw somebody in a Tony Award-winning performance in a show which probably nobody remembers, called Hallelujah Baby. Anybody? Okay. Well, she won a Tony, and the show won for Best Musical. And then I also had the opportunity to see a brand new musical directed by the legendary George Abbott. And he was he was 90 years old at the time that he directed this particular play, and he kept directing until he was about 103 years old, and he died at 110. So this particular show also had a hit song that was connected to it. And again, this will be the trivia question for tonight. Anybody here know a song called Step to the Rear? Yeah. Everyone here, kindly step to the rear and let a winner lead the way. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So, and that became a hit song recorded by a Miss Marilyn May. And later, I had the opportunity to have Miss Marilyn May as a teacher. So, but this was so later on that happened. But that was my first encounter with Marilyn May. But really, the seeds were kind of planted by my mom, because my mom would take me to movie musicals in the afternoon, movies that my dad didn't want to see. So things like The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins and let's see what else. Mary Poppins, and the very first one that she took me to was The Music Man. Good night, my someone. Good night, my love. Sleep tight, my someone. Sleep tight, my love. Our star is shining, its brightest light. So good night, my someone. Good night. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. Sweet dreams to carry you home to me. I wish I may, and I wish I might. So good night, my someone. Good night. There were bells on the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. There were birds in the trees, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them at all, till there was you. And there was music, and there was wonderful roses. They tell me in sweet, fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was you. True love can be whispered from heart to heart. When lovers are parted, they say. But I must depend on a wish and a star, just as long as my heart doesn't know who you are. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. Sweet dreams to carry you home to me. I wish I may, and I wish I might. So good night, my someone. Good night. It always struck me that it was Marion's kind of songs of longing and not Harold Hill's songs that really made the impression on me. So immediately I was already liking the girl songs. So, well, one thing that people forget about The Music Man is everyone thinks of it as being a very wholesome, all-American musical, but really Marion and Harold Hill are total outcasts in their community. They're renegades who happen to find each other, but really they are not accepted in their society. They were not, and I kind of identified with that. So I tried to think of ways that I could get involved in this as more than just a spectator. And what happened was in my junior high school, Mr. Messina, who was the music teacher, announced that they were going to do a 1-hour version of My Fair Lady, very quickly. If you are interested, you would put your name in, and I put my name in, and I was interested. And so a couple days later, they announced the cast list, and so they listed the name of the person playing what's his name? Henry Higgins. Henry Higgins, and it wasn't me. And the person who was cast as Pickering, it wasn't me. And then they got to Alfred P. Doolittle, the father. And they said, and Alfred P. Doolittle will be played by Charlie. Oh, and I thought, oh, this is great. This would be my first moment of the theater. Be played by Charlie E. And I thought, oh, they're going to call. I'm going to get up there, and it's going to be me. It's going to be done by Charlie Ebert. Charlie Ebert was a classmate of mine. So Charlie Ebert got my part. And yeah, that's a boo. And so rehearsals for My Fair Lady were done right after school, and I would kind of hang around outside the rehearsal, listening to what was going on. And one time I got caught. Charlie Ebert came out of the rehearsal, and he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I made something up. I was getting my books." But luckily, I was there because Charlie Ebert dropped out of the show, and I got Who knows where he is today? And I got to play my first of many thousands of father roles. Alfred P. Doolittle in My Fair Lady, Get Me to the Church on Time. There's drinks and girls all over London, and I gotta get them down in just a few more hours. I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Pull out the stopper, let's have a whopper, but get me to the church on time. I've got to be there in the morning, spruced up and looking in me prime. Girls come and kiss me, shout how you miss me, but get me to the church on time. If I am dancing, roll up the floor. If I am wooing, get her out the door. 'Cause I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Kick up a rumpus, but don't use the compass. And get me to the church. Get me to the church. For God's sake, get me to the church on time. So that was the beginning of a series of father roles throughout my whole lifetime, even though I've never been a father. And so I have a bunch of actors and actresses that when I see them, they always call me Dad. So people think, all these children that you have. But this was the beginning of starting to do shows, and I did small parts in Gypsy and How to Succeed. And one show that we did was a scandal in the little town of Melrose, Massachusetts. It was on the front page of the Melrose Free Press. It was being a dirty play. It was not a dirty play. It was a play called Lovers. And our drama teacher did a poster, and the poster was the sculptor of Rodin's Lovers. So it was nude lovers. But this was really racy for 1972, and we almost got banned. Not banned in Boston, banned in Melrose. So that's even worse. So finally, I did get to theater school, but get my little stool here. And but I was not an acting major, so I was not in the in crowd at all. I was a theater education major. So if you can't act, then you can just teach. So that meant that I had to take a lot of non-theater courses as part of my course of studies, and that just about nobody in the school, but definitely not a theater education student, could do a production in their first 2 years. So it was a time where I felt like people were saying no all the time, and they were saying not now, and they were saying later. When it's later, all you ever hear is later, Henrik, later, Henrik. Yes, we know, Henrik, oh, Henrik, everyone agrees. Henrik, please, Henrik, you have a thought, you're fairly bursting with a personal discovery or problem, and it's, what's your rush, Henrik? Shush, Henrik, goodness how you gush, Henrik, hush, Henrik, you murmur, it's just that, it's only for God's sake. Later, Henrik. Oh man, Henrik, wait, there's a cello in this number. Who is Henrik? Oh, the lawyer's son, the one who mumbles, short and boring, yes, he's hardly worth ignoring, and who cares if he's all damned? I beg your pardon, up inside, as I've often stated, it's intolerable being tolerated. Reassure, Henrik, poor Henrik, Henrik, you'll endure being pure, Henrik. Though I've been born, I've never been. Oh, can I wait around for later? I'll be 90 on my deathbed, and the late, or rather later, Henrik Egerman. Doesn't anything We didn't have much of a budget on this. So, needless to say, the 2 years were frustrating for me, and actually I took some time off and worked, and then I transferred to University of Massachusetts, and I got my degree in English. But while I was there, I really discovered that I enjoyed learning about the French language, like this. Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est belle. Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est gaie. Dites-moi pourquoi j'aime mademoiselle. Est-ce que parce que vous m'aimez? So, I did manage to use my English degree to get a scholarship to go to Paris and teach English in the French high school for 3 days a week, and then live in Paris the rest of the time. So that was an opportunity for me to expand my language skills, but also to explore some other aspects of life. Sur cette terre, ma seule joie, mon seul amour, c'est mon amour. J'ai donné tout que j'ai, tout mon amour et tout mon cœur à mon eau. Et même la nuit, quand je rêve de lui, de mon eau. Ce n'est pas qu'il est riche, qu'il est beau ni costaud, mais je l'aime. So I had my first romantic moments in Paris, and it was at a museum near my apartment on the city of Paris, and it was an exhibit about the life of the opera star Maria Callas. And I met this young man, Alain, who was visiting from the eastern part of France. And we had several blissful days, and he invited me to his little town of way out there, I forget the name, a little teeny town, and there was very different. We were not experiencing the freedom of Paris. It was a very conservative, constrained town, and it was very uncomfortable for us both. So finally, he took me to the rail station, and just to say goodbye and for me to go back. And this was my brief encounter moment of my life. Tears and goodbyes and waving as the train took me back to my appartement in Paris. What's the difference if I say I'll go away when I know I'll come back on my knees someday for whatever my man is? I am his forever. So I went back to Massachusetts for the summer before going on to graduate school, and it was the first year I'd really been away from my parents' house ever in my life. And my mom was very interested in the Mademoiselles. She would always ask me, "Well, you're away for a year. What about the Mademoiselles?" And then I said, "Well, Mom, to be honest, there really weren't any Mademoiselles that year." And she said, "Well, how about Messieurs?" And I said, "Well, now that you mention it." And she said, "Well, I guess that means no more grandchildren." I said, "Well, I guess. No more grandchildren." And she said, "Well, now, what do I have to live for?" But the next day she apologized and said that everything was fine. But I realized I gotta move on in my life. So I was accepted at several different graduate schools. I could have stayed in the Boston area. I was accepted at Harvard at the School of Education, and my parents would have liked that, and UCLA, so LA, and Michigan, and DC, but also Berkeley, California. And I had in my mind, well, that was San Francisco. And I had in mind what San Francisco was like. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle people there. And I did, but it was a different time. It was really the crazy, wild late 70s, and for me as a Boston boy, it was intimidating. It was frightening in some ways, and it was also kind of, what do I say? Intoxicating. I stay out of my mind. But if you've been to San Francisco, they say that things like this go on all the time. It never happens nowhere else. Maybe it's the air. Can't really seem to help myself. And what's more, I don't care. I'm always drunk in San Francisco. I'm never feeling any pain. But tell me, why does San Francisco, just like a lover's kiss, go straight to my brain? I guess it's just the mood I'm in that acts like alcohol, because I'm drunk in San Francisco and I don't drink at all. I'm always drunk in San Francisco. I'm never feeling any pain. But tell me, why does San Francisco, just like a lover's kiss, go straight to my brain? I guess it's just the mood I'm in that feels like alcohol, because I'm drunk in San Francisco and I don't drink at all. So I did get a little bit drunk in San Francisco, yeah. But I still kind of retain some of my East Coast reserve over the years, and maybe that's why I'm still around today. I don't know, but I did build a career here, and this is not what this show is about, but I was a high school teacher, and I worked in retail, and then I went into what they call corporate training and taught managers and employees skills. But all of it, I was able to use some of my theater background, to present information. And but during a long period of my life, I didn't get to do theater, but it was always in my mind. But about 18 years ago, I began my double life. My double life occurred, and I was a human resources training manager by day and a performer by night. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. It's not how you go, it's how you land. 100 to 1 shot, they called me a klutz. Can't outrun the favorite, all you need is the guts. Your final return will not diminish, and you can be the cream of the crop. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, and you're gonna finish on top. So I did get back into a community theater, but I had some very odd ideas about it. Somebody called me up once and they offered me a part in the ensemble in Cabaret, and I said, well, I would really much rather be King Arthur. It wasn't okay. And some director offered me a small part in the Sondheim show, and I told him, well, actually, if you take this character and you take this character, you can make my part much larger, much more important in the show. And he said, really? do you want the part or don't you? So I took the part. So, but I did get to do a lot of shows, and there were a lot of shows that I never got to do that I would have loved to have done. So this section of the show we call the coulda, woulda, shoulda, and did section. Coulda, woulda, shouldas. So let's start with the coulda, woulda, shouldas. So one of the ones that has always been one that I've wanted to do was Herbie in Gypsy. Funny, you're a stranger who's come here, come from another town. Funny, I'm a stranger myself here, small world, isn't it? Funny, you're a girl who likes traveling rather than settling down. Funny, 'cause I love to go traveling, small world, isn't it? We have so much in common, it's a phenomenon. We could pool our resources by joining forces from now on. Lucky, you're a woman with children, that's an important sign. Lucky, 'cause I'd love to have children, small world, isn't it? Funny, isn't it? Small and funny and fine. So I did get to do this play La Cage aux Folles, but I played the very nasty Monsieur Dandon. It was my first time in drag, in high heels, walking down this long set of stairs with no railing, in the dark, with lights in my eyes, with 700 people watching me about to commit suicide. Stairs, but that worked out all right. But the part that I really would have liked to play was one of the leads, particularly maybe George, who sang this song. Do you recall that windy little beach we walked along? That afternoon in fall, that afternoon we met, a fella with a concertina sang. What was the song? How strange what we recall, and odd what we forget. I hear la da 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 as we walked on the sand. I heard la da da da. I believe it was early September. Through the crash of the waves, I could tell that the words were romantic. Something about sharing, something about always. Though the years race along, I still think of our song on the sand. And I still try and search for the words I can barely remember. Though the time races by, there's one thing that I am forever certain of. I hear la da 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 da, and I'm young and in love. So a more unsympathetic Jerry Herman character I would have liked to have done was Max Sennett from Mac and Mabel. I won't send roses or hold the door. I won't remember which dress you wore. My heart is too much in control. The lack of romance in my soul will turn you gray, kid. So stay away, kid. Forget my shoulder when you're in need. Forgetting birthdays is guaranteed. And should I love you, you would be the last to know. I won't send roses, and roses suit you so. My pace is frantic, my temper cross, with words romantic. I'm at a loss. I'd be the first one to agree that I'm preoccupied with me, and it's inbred, kid. So keep your head, kid. In me you'll find things like guts and nerve, but not the kind things that you deserve. So while there's still a fighting chance, just turn and go. I won't send roses, and roses suit you so. How do we go on to the next one? We go on to a song somewhere. This is the stuff I actually did, right? Okay.
I wasn't there, but
I wasn't there either. So this is one of my favorite characters, and unfortunately, this play, Candor and Ebb's Cabaret, has become even more relevant again in these days, unfortunately. And I loved this character. This was Herr Schultz. How the world can change, it can change like that, due to one little word, married. See a palace rise from a two-room flat, due to one little word, married. And the old despair, which was often there, suddenly ceases to be. For you wake one day, look around and say, somebody wonderful married me. And another farther part, this was, in the movie, he was an uncle. In the play, he was a grandfather. And I asked the director, can I please make him an uncle? I didn't want him to play a grandfather. He said, no, it has to be a grandfather. Even though I didn't, the woman who played my granddaughter could not mathematically have been my granddaughter. Didn't matter. So it's a beautiful song, often gets cut from Frank Lesser's Guys and Dolls. Velvet, I can wish you for the color of your coat, and fortune smiling all along your way. But more I cannot wish you than to wish you find your love, your own true love, this day. Mansions I can wish you, 7 footmen all in red, and calling cards upon a silver tray. But more I cannot wish you than to wish you find your love, your own true love, this day. gazing at you with the sheep's eye and the licorice tooth. Music, I can wish you merry music while you're young, and wisdom when your hair has turned to gray. But more I cannot wish you than to wish you find your love, your own true love, this day. With the sheep's eye and the licorice tooth and the strong arms to carry you away. So I didn't really roll on. I didn't really sing this song except off stage. I was just kind of a pit singer. But I want to do it because I want to dedicate it to all of my old friends that are here tonight and have supported me doing this show. Thank you very much. Hey, old friend, how do we stay? Well, let's start that again because I screwed it up. Let's start. We're going to start from the
very top.
Very top.
Okay.
Yes. Because that's where I screwed up. Hey, old friend, what do you say? Old friend, are we okay? Old friend, are we or aren't we unique? Time goes by, everything else keeps changing. You and I, we get continued next week. Most friends fade, or they don't make the grade. New ones are quickly made, and in a pinch, sure, they'll do. But us, old friend, what's to discuss? Old friend, here's to us. Who's like us? Damn few. That was much better, I think. Hey, old friends, how do we stay? Old friends, no one can say. Old friends, how an old friendship survives. One day, chums, having a laugh a minute. One day comes and they're a part of your life. New friends pour through the revolving door. Maybe there's one that's more. If you find one, that'll do. But us, old friend, what's to discuss? Old friend, here's to us. Who's like us? Damn few. So, your final return will not diminish, and you can be the cream of the crop. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, and you're gonna finish on top. So speaking of, and this is called the filler section of the performance. I need some water. Speaking of beginnings and endings, I remember the first time I ever went on a march for a cause, and that was in 1971, and I went to Washington, D.C. to protest against the war in Vietnam, and my parents didn't know that I went. I got on the bus and just went to the thing and came back, and over the years I have felt like as a society we've been making a lot of progress, and except lately. So where it feels like we're going in the backwoods direction. So I don't think probably too many people in this room disagree, but so after feeling like, well, I'm not going to be marching again like I did in 1971, I'm feeling that maybe it is getting time to get out there and march for the kind of world that we all want to live in. If music is no longer lovely, if laughter is no longer lilting, if lovers are no longer loving, then I don't want to know. If summer is no longer carefree, if children are no longer singing, if people are no longer happy, then I don't want to know. Let me hide every truth from my eyes with the back of my hand. Let me live in a world full of lies with my head in the sand. For my memories all are exciting, my memories all are enchanting, my memories burn in my head with a steady glow. So if, my friends, if love is dead, I don't want to know. If music is no longer lovely, if laughter is no longer lilting, if lovers are no longer loving, then I don't want to know. If summer is no longer carefree, if children are no longer singing, if people are no longer happy, then I don't want to know. Let me hide every truth from my eyes with the back of my hand. Let me live in a world full of lies with my head in the sand. For my memories all are exciting, my memories all are enchanted, my memories burn in my head with a steady glow. So if, my friends, if love is dead, I don't want to know. So, this is my St. Patrick's Day water bottle. Because the tie doesn't work. I had a tie that didn't work very well. So now I spent many, many years in San Francisco, and I'm really happy and fulfilled in my life here. And also, my mother used to ask me whether I had met my kindred spirit. And I still think I have not met my kindred spirit, but that's pretty much okay. Sometimes I think my heart will burst like a balloon inside my chest, with all the love that's waiting here unexpressed. Fingers that ache to intertwine, warmest of chords but missing tune. Where is the laugh to echo mine? Send it soon. The words my lips would form, the circle these two arms might make safe and warm. Someone could be safe and warm. But maybe the love we yearn to give can find a release some other way, coloring how we choose to live every day, the kindness we can share. Kindness we can share, the comfort these two arms might lend in despair. Someone's always in despair. Still, I'm longing to meet those pair of eyes, dark as the night or endless blue, holding a light I'll recognize, something clear, something true, something that seems to mean something I haven't seen since you. So one thing that I have found, and they say this does happen to people as they get a little bit along in years, is I'm starting to have these vivid dreams of things that happened in my youth, and pleasurable memories, and sometimes with a little bit of regret. We put together a couple songs to look at that. There was something in a desert. There was something wild and green, and a child in a village we passed through. There are places that I've traveled, and so many things I've seen, but it all fades away. But you, I was sliding down a mountain, I was burning in the sun, I was crying with amazement at the view. I was capturing a moment, but when all is said and done, it all fades away. But you, it all fades away, it all fades away, it all fades away. But you. I've seen a perfect sunrise in the morning, the birth of gold and crimson on the sea. I've walked a perfect night in early summer, with the warmest lilac breeze caressing me. And I recall a perfect night of music. My eyes were filled with tears when it was through. And when I turned to see you also crying, then I knew I'd found my perfect love in you. And once my life was full of someone who shared the beauty all around. We built our world with perfect moments. We lived for sight and taste and touch and sound. If I remember just the perfect moments, perhaps my heart won't feel it broke in two. For perfect moments have their perfect endings, and that's how I'll remember you. Once my world was filled with someone who shared the beauty all around. We built our world with perfect moments. We lived for sight and taste and touch and sound. If I remember just the perfect moments, perhaps my heart won't feel it broke in two. For perfect moments have their perfect endings, and that's how I'll remember you. You have anything left? Well, we have something. So, this is a part of the show called, we don't know what song we're going to do because we keep changing our mind. And don't tell Faith Prince this.
Okay.
She told me not to do this. But it doesn't feel right. So we had a song that we were going to do here because this is our last official song of the evening. And but I really wanted to do this song. So I'm going to cheat a little bit because I don't know the words that well. But I really want to do this song for you. And I assume someday I'll do another cabaret show, but I want to do this song just in case this is the last chance. Because I love this song. And I didn't want to do it because people do it all the time, but then I thought maybe you didn't hear it, so if you didn't hear it, maybe you'll be okay listening to it again. But really, it also reflects my feeling tonight. I'm going to get through this song. That you're all here, so thank you. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance. For I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance. Whatever stone life may sling, we can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful. Thank you. And you can't leave yet. It doesn't fake out. So a lot of people that I would like to thank that helped and supported me this evening to make that this happen, and I managed to get through it without having a nervous breakdown. Which is a miracle in and of itself. First of all, my musical director, Mr. Tom Shaw. Helpers on this that aren't here tonight. During the whole rehearsal process, my musical director during that process, Steve Sanders. He's off doing some little unknown show. What is it? What was it called? Hamilton. That's why I can't be. And also, my teacher, my director, my mentor, my friend, the person who pushes me harder to do songs in French and talking about things that I don't want to talk about. She's not here tonight, but the Tony Award-winning actress Faith Prince was really. And some people that helped with the marketing, so Richard Mayer and Ben Jankin, who helped me with the marketing, so thank you. And everybody here at Society Cabaret who have helped me through this whole process over the last 3 months, and I'm very grateful that they invited me here in the first place to do this show. So thank you, Society Cabaret folks. Thank you. Forgot that otherwise I would be doing this show, like I do it most of the time in my bedroom to myself. Because you're here, I get to have people to listen to this show, and I thank you all for taking your time and your money and everything and coming here and sitting here for an hour and a half. So thank you all. I'm very grateful. So you have really helped me realize my dream by being able to do this, and this was a learning experience in many ways. So music has really sustained me in my life, in good times and bad, and I keep hoping for one more beautiful song in my life. And we're doing a little song here called One More Beautiful Song by Ed Kleben, who wrote a chorus line. And I also want to wish this on you, that you have many, many wonderful songs and music in your life as well. So. Let there be one more beautiful song in the cosmos. Let there be one more simply ravishing tune. Let there be words that simply say the way I feel today. 3/4 church, 1/4 a saloon. Let there be one huge laugh before it's over, and maybe one high note to crack the dome. Let there be one more beautiful song this lovely evening, and then we'll all go home, nor get to the library bar. Let there be one huge laugh before it's over, and let the one high note be heard in Rome. Let there be one more beautiful song this lovely evening, and then we'll all go home. And then we'll all go home. Thank you and good night. It is a special night because it is St. Patrick's Day. So we wanted to commemorate it and wish you well. We're all going to be in the bar next door, the library bar, celebrating St. Patrick's Day in just a moment. But we have a little song that we want to do to wish you well as you go off to your St. Patrick's night. It's a great day for the Irish. It's a great day for fair. The sidewalks of New York are thick with Blarney. For sure you think New York was old Killarney. It's a great day for the Shamrock, for the flags in full array. We're feeling so inspired, sure, because for all the Irish, it's a great, great day. It's a great day for the Irish. It's a great day for fair. Begosh, there's not a cop to stop a raiding. Begorra, all the cops are out parading. It's a great day for the Irish, for the flags in full